Welcome to the deep dive. You're tuning in because, well, you want to get your motorcycle license here in British Columbia.
Yeah, you want to know what's involved, like right now as things stand.
Exactly. So we've done the legwork, gone through the official info from ICBC, that's the Insurance Corporation of British Columbia, to give you a really clear guide for getting that Class 6 or Class 8 license. This is as of April 2025.
Think of it as us untangling the process for you. It can seem a bit complicated at first glance.
It really can. So our mission here is simple. A step-by-step walkthrough of the current system.
But before we jump into those steps, there's something really important we need to flag right up front.
Oh, yeah, the big heads up. Things are set to change.
That's right. ICBC and the province, they've announced this new thing called the Motorcyclist Licensing Program, or MLP. It's expected, well, probably early 2026.
And the key takeaway, it's going to mean longer waits. Longer mandatory learning times, we're talking at least 9 months.
Might be reducible, maybe down to 6 months if you do specific training.
And longer restricted periods, too. Minimum 18 months as a novice rider.
Again, potentially cut down to 12 months with, the right training course.
So, just to be super clear, what we're about to detail is the system now, April 2025. It's going to look quite different soon, especially for folks who already have a full car license. That Class 6 path we'll talk about.
Absolutely. Crucial context. Knowing the current system helps, but yeah, keep those 2026 changes in mind.
Okay, so the current system. Right now, there are basically 2 main routes you can take. First is the Class 6 path.
This is generally the faster one. It's for people who already have a full BC driver's license, like a Class 5, or even a full Class 7.
And the second route.
That's the Class 8 path. This is for brand new drivers entering the whole graduated licensing program, the GLP.
Or maybe someone who only has a car learner's license, the 7L, or the car novice license, the 7N.
Right. And as you'd expect, that path involves a few more stages, takes a bit longer.
Okay, let's break it down then. Starting right at the beginning, getting your learner's license could be a Class 6L or a Class 8L.
First things first. Eligibility. Are you even allowed to start?
Good point. What are the basics?
Well, for either path, you need to be at least 16 years old. That's the minimum age.
And if you're under 19?
You'll need your parent or guardian to give consent. Standard stuff.
Okay. What else?
Everyone has to pass a vision screening, just making sure you can see properly for riding, and you have to meet ICBC's medical standards.
Which basically means no medical conditions that would make riding unsafe.
Exactly. And then specifically for that faster Class 6 path, you must already hold a valid BC Class 5 or Class 7 license. That's the prerequisite.
Got it. So you're eligible. What's next? Study time.
Absolutely. You need to get your hands on the ICBC Learn to Ride Smart Guide. Seriously, this is vital.
Download it, pick up a copy, whatever works. It's got everything for the knowledge test.
And definitely use the online practice tests on the ICBC website. It's like doing mock exams. It really helps you see if you're ready for the real thing.
Solid advice. Okay, so you've studied up. Time for the actual knowledge test.
Right. You need to book an appointment. Go to an ICBC driver licensing office.
And the test itself.
It's 40 multiple choice questions, all based on that Learn to Ride Smart Guide. No trick questions. It's all in the book.
Passing score.
You need 80%. So sum 2 out of 40, correct.
Is there a fee?
Yep. It's currently $15, though it's free if you're 65 or older.
What if you don't pass the first time?
You have to wait 7 days before you can try again. So, better to study and pass first time if you can.
And here's a key thing for some listeners. If you have no prior driver's license at all, like no L or N for a car,
Yep.
what then?
Good catch. Yeah, if you're totally new to licensing, you also have to pass the Class 7 knowledge test, the one for passenger vehicles, in addition to the motorcycle one.
Okay, so 2 tests in that case. Once you pass the knowledge test and the vision check.
Then you pay for your actual learner's license card. It's a $10 fee for the photo card itself,
And they'll issue you either a Class 6L if you had that full car license.
or a Class 8L if you're in the graduated licensing program.
Right. Now, getting that L is great, but it comes with some pretty important rules, doesn't it? Restrictions.
Oh yeah, absolutely critical for safety. Let's run through them. First big one, the supervisor.
You can't just ride off on your own.
Nope. You have to ride within sight of a qualified supervisor.
And qualified means.
For a Class 6L learner, the supervisor needs to be at least 25 and hold a full Class 6 license. Or, interestingly, someone 19 or older who is also guiding another Class 6L learner can supervise you.
And for Class 8L?
Supervisor must be at least 25 with a full Class 6. Simpler rule there.
Okay, but here's the kicker, right? This supervisor rule doesn't last forever.
Exactly. This is super important. The supervisor restriction gets lifted once you pass the motorcycle skills test, the MST. We'll get to that test in a minute.
And there's another restriction that goes away after the MST too, isn't there? The speed limit.
That's right. While you're on your L, before the MST, you absolutely cannot go faster than 60 kilometers per hour.
60 clicks max, but past the MST.
And that restriction is gone too. You can ride at the posted speed limit.
Okay, so MST removes supervisor and 60-kilometer limit. What restrictions stay even after the MST?
Well, you're still restricted to daylight hours only.
Oh.
So sunrise to sunset riding, no night riding yet.
No passengers either, right?
Correct. Absolutely no passengers allowed on your learner's license, MST passed or not.
And the really crucial one, impairment.
Zero tolerance, zero blood alcohol concentration, zero presence of drugs. That applies throughout the learner stage. No wiggle room there.
Makes sense. Now, there are a couple of extra rules just for the Class 8L folks, the ones in the GLP.
Yeah. Two key differences. First, Class 8L riders must display the L sign, the learner sign,
Where does it go?
on the back of the bike or
Right.
on the back of your jacket or vest, clearly visible.
And the other Class 8L specific rule?
No electronic devices, not even hands-free, no phone use, no GPS fiddling while riding.
But these last two, the L sign and device ban, they don't apply to the Class 6L riders, the ones who already have their full car license.
Correct. Those are just for the Class 8L riders navigating the GLP system.
Okay, that clears up the learner stage and its rules. So the next major hurdle is that motorcycle skills test, the MST.
Yep. Step 2. This is where you prove you have the basic bike control down.
And practice is key here. You can practice with your supervisor, obviously.
You can, but honestly, we strongly recommend getting professional training. A licensed riding school can make a huge difference.
They teach you the specific skills needed for the test, give you feedback.
Exactly. It's about building that foundational control. They know what the examiners look for. It's money well spent, usually.
Right. So when can you actually take this MST? Is there a waiting period?
There is. If you have a Class 6L, you need to wait at least 14 days after getting it.
2 weeks. And for Class 8L.
It's a bit longer, minimum 30 days holding the 8L before you can take the MST.
Okay. And booking it. Same place.
Yep. Book your MST appointment at an ICBC driver licensing office.
And the cost. We mentioned the knowledge test fee.
Good news here. The MST itself is currently free. No charge for the test.
Excellent. Free is always good. What do you need to bring on test day?
Your learner's license, of course,
Yeah.
proper photo ID, and your supervisor needs to come with you.
Because you're still technically under supervision until you pass.
Precisely. And you need to provide the motorcycle.
What are the requirements for the bike?
It's got to be suitable, safe, road legal, valid registration and insurance, all the standard stuff.
And wasn't there a recommendation about bike size?
Yes. ICBC suggests using a bike over 200 cc for the MST if you eventually want a full unrestricted Class 6 license.
Why is that?
Because the final Class 6 road test requires a bike over 200 cc anyway. So using one for the MST gets you used to it. Kind of makes sense. You can use a smaller bike for the MST, but just keep that future road test requirement in mind.
Okay, so what actually happens during the MST? What skills are they testing?
It's pretty quick, usually about 15 minutes. Takes place in a controlled area like a big empty parking lot. No traffic.
Just you and the examiner.
Yep. They'll watch you do a series of maneuvers. Things like pushing the bike correctly, showing you can use the control signals, horn.
Hand signals, too.
Yep, demonstrating hand signals. Then slow speed stuff. Riding in a straight line, nice and steady, weaving through cones, the slalom.
Braking.
Definitely. Controlled braking, making turns, including fairly tight U-turns.
Anything else?
There's usually a quick acceleration, followed by a prompt controlled stop, critically without skidding the tires.
Sounds like a good test of fundamental control, and if you pass...
Big step. Like we said, passing the MST means bye-bye supervisor requirement and bye-bye 60-kilometer speed limit.
But remember, other L restrictions still apply. Daylight riding, no passengers.
In the L sign and device rules, if you're Class 8L, those all remain until you pass your road test.
Now, is the ICBC MST the only way to get these restrictions lifted? I thought I heard something about schools.
You're thinking of the MSA, the Motorcycle Skills Assessment.
Right. Oh, what's that?
Some ICBC-approved training schools offer this MSA as part of their courses. If you take their course and successfully pass their skills assessment, the MSA.
Then you might not need to do the separate ICBC MST.
Exactly. It can potentially replace the ICBC test. So definitely something to ask about if you're signing up for training. Could save you a step.
Good alternative to know about. Okay, so MST passed or MSA completed. What's step 3?
Practice, practice, practice. Now you can ride without a supervisor breathing down your neck.
Yeah.
And at normal speeds.
Still with those other learner restrictions, though.
Still with those restrictions, yes. But this is your time to really get comfortable on the road. Build experience in different conditions. Develop your road sense.
This is where you apply what you learned in training or from the book, right, in the real world.
Absolutely. And it's a good idea to revisit the Learn to Ride Smart guide and maybe check out the Tuning Up for Riders guide, too.
Focusing on what?
Road rules, hazard perception, really learning to anticipate what might happen, and just general safe riding strategies, lane positioning, observation, that sort of thing.
And again, advanced rider training courses could be valuable here, too.
For sure. Even after the MST, more training can always help refine your skills and boost your confidence for the upcoming road test.
Which brings us to step 4, the road test. Either Class 6 or Class 8.
This is the big one. Proving you can ride safely and legally out in actual traffic.
Let's talk eligibility again. Who can take which test and when? Let's start with the Class 6 road test.
Okay, Class 6 road test. This is for people on that faster track. You need to have held your Class 6L for at least 30 days, and you must have passed the MST.
So a month after getting your 6L, assuming you pass the MST quickly.
Pretty much. And if you pass this Class 6 road test, boom, you get your full, unrestricted Class 6 motorcycle license right away.
Done. Finished. That's quick.
Relatively speaking, yes. Especially compared to the other path.
Okay, so what about the Class 8 road test for the GLP folks?
Right. For the Class 8 road test, you need to have held your Class 8L learner's license for a minimum of 12 months, 1 full year.
12 months after getting the 8L. And
Just like the Class 6 path, you must have also passed the MST during that year.
passing this Class 8 road test doesn't give you the full license yet, does it?
No. Passing the Class 8 road test moves you into the novice stage. You get your Class 8N license.
Got it. So one test leads to full license, the other leads to the novice stage. How about booking these tests?
Need to book in advance, again at ICBC. Definitely book well ahead, especially in spring and summer. Riding season gets busy.
Tests run rain or shine, apparently.
Yep, be prepared for any weather. Bring appropriate gear.
Fees for the road tests.
The Class 6 road test is currently $50. The Class 8 road test is $35.
And free for seniors 65 plus again.
That's right. Also be aware of the cancellation fee. $25 if you cancel or reschedule with less than 48 hours notice.
Good to know. Avoid that if you can. What do you need on test day besides nerves of steel?
Yeah. You need your learner's license, accepted photo ID, proof you paid the fee, and a suitable motorcycle.
Same deal as the MST bike. Safe, legal, insured.
Yep. And again, that recommendation for over 200cc if you're doing the Class 6 test or aiming for an unrestricted license eventually via the Class 8 path.
How does the test actually work? Is the examiner on the back?
No. The examiner follows you in a car. You wear a radio receiver, like a little earpiece, and they give you directions over the radio. Turn left at the next light, change lanes to the right when safe, that kind of thing.
And what are they watching for?
They're assessing your overall safe operation in traffic, how you handle intersections, lane changes, how you merge onto highways, if that's part of the mail.
Hazard perception, too, seeing dangers.
Big time. Also speed control, maintaining proper lane position, and doing specific maneuvers smoothly, like U-turns or turning in a cul-de-sac.
Okay, test is done. What happens after you pass?
If you pass the Class 6 road test, congratulations,
Yeah.
you walk out with your full Class 6 license.
Awesome. And if you pass the Class 8 road test?
Then you move on to Step 5, the novice stage. You get your Class 8N license card.
Right. So let's talk about this novice stage, the Class 8N. This is only for those who came through the Class 8 path.
Correct. Once you pass that Class 8 road test, you enter the novice period. It lasts for 24 months, 2 years.
And the main condition during those 2 years?
You need to stay prohibition-free, no driving suspensions or prohibitions related to driving offenses. Keep a clean record.
Is there any way to shorten that 2-year novice period?
There might be.
Yeah.
It usually relates back to driver training for your car license.
Oh, interesting. How does that work?
Well, if you took an ICBC-approved GLP car driver training course, way back when you had your car learner's L license, and you kept a clean record then, that can reduce your 24-month motorcycle novice N period by 6 months, down to 18 months total.
So car training can shorten the motorcycle novice phase.
Currently, that seems to be the main way. It's always best to double-check with ICBC directly about any potential credits or reductions, maybe even from approved motorcycle courses, but the car GLP course is the established one for reduction.
Good tip. Definitely worth asking ICBC about your specific situation. What
Yeah.
restrictions apply during this novice end stage?
Still a couple of important ones. You must display the N sign, the novice sign. Same deal as the L sign, back of the bike or your gear.
And impairment.
Still zero tolerance, zero BAC, zero drugs, same as the learner stage. That continues right through the novice phase.
Okay, 24 months or 18 or up, you've kept your nose clean. What's the final step for these Class 8 path riders?
The final hurdle. Step 6, get your full Class 6 license.
Which involves.
Booking and passing another road test. This time it's the Class 6 road test.
So people in the Class 8 path effectively do 2 road tests. The Class 8 test to get their N, and then the Class 6 test to get their full license.
That's exactly right. It's a longer process with that extra test at the end.
And this final Class 6 road test, same booking, same fee as the Class 6 path people took.
Yep. Book it, pay the $50 fee, unless you're senior. Same test format, examiner follows in a car, assessing your riding skills in traffic.
And passing this one.
Passing this final test means you finally get your full, unrestricted Class 6 motorcycle license. You've completed the entire graduated licensing program for motorcycles.
Phew. Okay, that covers both paths in detail. Let's quickly summarize those main fees again, just keeping in mind they can change.
Sure. Knowledge test, $15. Learner's license photo card, $10.
Motorcycle skills test, MST.
Currently free,
Class 8 road test.
$35.
Class 6 road test, whether taken first or second.
$50.
And getting the actual 5-year license card issued or renewed.
That's typically $75.
Okay, good overview.
So yeah, that pretty much wraps up our deep dive into how you get a motorcycle license in BC right now, April 2025. Hopefully that clears things up quite a bit.
We really aimed for a comprehensive look at the current steps, but, and we have to stress this again, remember those big changes coming with the new motorcyclist licensing program, the MLP.
Absolutely. Expected early 2026. It will change things, likely making the process longer, especially those minimum timeframes. So stay tuned for updates on that.
Definitely keep an eye on official sources. Your absolute best bet for the most current, accurate info fees, forms, booking, everything is always the ICBC website.
ICBC.com. Bookmark it if you're serious about getting your license.
So here's something to chew on as we wrap up. Considering all these steps we've laid out for the current system and knowing these significant MLP changes are just over the horizon, what parts of getting your license do you think will be most impacted? And maybe more personally, how might those upcoming changes affect your plan or timeline for getting onto 2 wheels?
Yeah, definitely some food for thought there.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.